Yes, we're live. Hello. Hi, Younggan.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to Juhl Media live streaming. Today, the 2020 Younggan, we're getting together, have a reunion, and we'll talk about current situation, talk about what happened 4 years ago, talk about anything we want to talk about. So, welcome. On my left or right, I can, uh, on my side, that's Nick Rivera from Connecticut, New York, Connecticut Younggan. And underneath Nick is Peter Mancu, New York Younggan. And then underneath me, my neighbor, that's Brian Mannix, New York Younggan. So, hey, gentlemen, how's everything?
Good, good. Everything
Good.
good.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving, belated.
Yes,
Oh,
happy
yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. So, I would like to just do a round kind of a intro, like when we're clubhouse we do intro. I guess I can start first. I'm Ching Juhl. I am the creator of this channel, Juhl Media, and we have been getting together from time to time during the Yan time. And I remember last time we were here was in May, Yangan had a gathering. And yeah, so I'm a musician and I'm a filmmaker. My latest project, finished project, is about us, about Yangan. It's called My Yangan Diary. And then you can check it out on Amazon Prime and Tubi. All right, so move on to Nick. Nick, tell us what you have been up to.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nick Rivera. I'm from Connecticut. I am a customer experience professional with Comcast. Been doing that for a little over 2 years. It's been a good experience working from home. I don't have to worry about a morning commute except down the stairs. So it's been really good for me. And also just keeping myself informed of what's going on in the world of politics. Well, here in the United States, locally, and you know, just reading up on what I can and keeping in touch with those that I met during the gang movement and just seeing where we do and where we go from here as far as growing. And we'll be reminiscing and talking about what we're doing now and everything. So I'm really happy to be here and happy belated Thanksgiving to everyone.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Nick. Yeah. So we'll move on to Peter. Hi, Peter. What's going on?
Hi, guys. Yeah. My name is Peter. Yeah, everything is good. Just celebrated Thanksgiving with some family and friends. Yeah. Yeah, I'm New York gang. I live not far from where Ching lives in the city. Yeah. But yeah, I'm visiting Connecticut actually. So at the moment, I'm actually closer to where Nick is. So yeah, it's good to be back. I think around this time I met Nick and Ching. I met you guys at that cutting room event because I remember that was November of 2019. Yeah, I just didn't know the exact date, but I remember it was late November, and I met the two of you there. So it's good to be back with you guys.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, uh don't let me forget how I picked this day for us to meet. November, I started to move into this, get inspired since May 14th, where I met Nick and some other young man at a rally in New York City. But November 24th, why? Brian, why is that? Is because on 24th, there is a big fundraising for NGN campaign in New York in a kind of nice restaurant slash club slash entertainment. They built a stage and yeah, they had a food and unlimited drink. I think I only had one though. And it was like amazing, amazing. That was yeah, a very inspiring. Met so many young men, and Nick was yeah, volunteering to do the check in, people check in and make sure everything goes order and kind of like also like a bodyguard of Andrew Yang, unpaid. But anyway, I was like, because I'm always looking at the pictures, the videos, even if I don't want to look at, they are on my photo on my MacBook. So it's always there. And so that's why it reminds me a lot of things. I'm still living in the past, I guess. It's not like, it's been 4 years, and yeah, I think it's worth for us to visit each other and also talk about what happened or what is going on right now. I want to say hello to our guest, our audience. Hi, Lewis. Hi, Shirley. Thank you so much. Hi, Vaughn. Anyway, so let's move on to Brian. Hi, Brian. How are you?
Good. How are you? My name is Brian Mannix. I also had a very nice Thanksgiving yesterday with my mom and my two boys. My one son is in Puerto Rico. I'm excited to say, and yeah, I got involved in the Yang Gang a long time ago, and have been like wanting to see it progress. I've witnessed the move to the Forward Party, and I'd love to hear what all of you have to think about that, and how we can maybe make it something that it doesn't seem to be as of yet. Something that could really make an impact maybe on 2028.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. And how do I get get to know you, Brian? Is it because a clubhouse?
It's a good question. I don't know. I think I stumbled on Yang Gang Diary, and I think that's how we met. In other words, I watched that. I think I got in touch with you after watching that,
Uh-huh.
which was just it would I've said in the past. I think maybe Nick has heard me say this, that you were like the sister version of me. You were like the spirit version of me doing the Yang Gang stuff that I wasn't able to do. I couldn't go to Chihuahua, but it was amazing to see like what I thought like could have been my shadow life on the big screen. It's great.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I remember very late one night, probably you saw the film and then you called me, I think. And you were like so excited, and you were watching it. I think that's you. You were watching it for like a cheap version. You can get like 4.99 on Vimeo just to watch it. And then after you watch it, you love it so much, and then you bought it for like $10. And then you called me.
I did, and then bought it. I'm probably the only person that
Yeah.
I did both. Yeah. Yeah.
And you were running for Congress then, remember?
I was trying to become the first forwardist candidate, failed to do so, and
Yeah.
picked not exactly the best guy to run against, Hakeem
Yeah.
Jeffries.
Yeah.
Didn't really choose that, but moved into Brooklyn there.
Right.
But I did have a campaign.
Yeah. Well, so glad to meet you. And this movement is pretty amazing for myself. I know many of you feel the same way, and it's like the passion and the willingness of putting all the time and to work and volunteer to work. And yeah, it's just difficult for me to describe. It's like Nick always said, it's a once in a lifetime experience, right? And it's so true. And I just, yeah, I'm just very inspired by you guys, because without you, and there will be no My Young Diary, it's not gonna be born. So yeah, I'm so inspired by you. So yeah, any thoughts about 2024? Do you have any thoughts? No?
Ooh, I have thoughts, but it's hard to put it all together because there's so much that's going on right now. You have, these two main candidates, right? There's Joe Biden, and lots of people are like, oh, you don't want Joe Biden to run again. You're looking at the polls right now. He's not faring well. His favorability is down, even though they say, and it's been said, hey, Joe Biden has done a lot. There's been a lot of that's been passed. His presidency is nothing but inconsequential. It is, and so the idea is like, oh well, he was the best choice for 2020, but not so much for 2024. It's because you have a lot of independents in the United States who don't see Joe Biden as their standard bearer, and that's main problem right there. And the thing is, if you're not happy with the candidates that are put in front of you, then you have to put somebody up. And who is going to hold that standard, who is going to help save democracy. And thing is, in order to save democracy, you need someone that is going to be able to carry that and not be beholden to the special interests, not be beholden to big money and big pharma and what have you, all the big ones, all the big financiers out there. And sad to say, Biden and Trump, they're not innocent. They've taken money. So because it costs so much to run for president, it really shouldn't be this position. It's public service, right? But it costs so much in order to assume that role, to be voted in. The primary season is crazy. It's so long, and all the campaigning you have to do, for 50 states, and how you get your name on the ballot, and all that stuff. It's a very involved process. So as far as 2024 goes, I don't really like to think about it too much because I don't want to get down on myself. But I think it's just important to stay informed and to be hopeful. That's all I can say for a
Mm,
better day in this
mm,
country. More
yeah.
unity. Yeah.
Anybody else have any input?
Do you want to go?
Peter?
Well, I think Joe Biden, yeah, he did a lot, honestly. I mean, people, they might not give him credit where it's due, but I think he's done quite a bit. The only thing is, unfortunately, it comes down to marketing. And he's not fit to hit the campaign trail. That's the problem. I mean, if he was campaigning, going from state to state, making speeches, I think people would put their differences aside, even if he wasn't their first choice. Even in 2020, you know, they would come around and say, in the one term he had, he's accomplished a lot. He got us back into the Paris Accords. He got us, he strengthened our NATO ties, thanks a little bit to Vladimir Putin, but still, you know, I think he did quite a bit. They're even saying the inflation has gotten under control, stuff like that.
Well, gasoline is going down.
That's right.
Yeah, well, the point is, I mean, he hasn't been perfect probably, but no one would have been anyway, given what he inherited.
Well,
So,
yeah, I didn't study much like these people, but there's not a whole lot of people are running on as a Republican, as a Democrat, and also independent, right? It's not a whole lot. So what do you think, Brian?
I'm concerned.
Mm.
I'm concerned about the big man with the T in his name. I'm concerned about the country, and I'm concerned that in about 7 or 8 months' time, when when it all kind of hits the fan, whether he's innocent or guilty, which is about when that case should come up, even with some delays, like in about August, we're going to decide the January 6th federal investigation whether he's innocent or guilty. And I think that's going to be a big tipping point for this country that I'm concerned about. I hope it's not, but I just imagine one way or the other, if he's found guilty, what happens? Do people grab guns and does something bad happen to a public official? and if he makes it through in some strange way, or if there's it seems like there's some foul play, I wonder if people who are against him take to the streets. I mean, this is going to be like O.J. Simpson times like a million. Although it's not going to be televised, I think it's going to get a lot of press in a lot of years, and I'm worried. So before 24 in the election, that's sort of what I'm focused in on as my worry point.
Yeah. It's it's tough. It's tough. Yeah. And I was told, let's see, who told me that? I forgot. Uh, the Andrew Yang is endorse what is this guy's name? Dean Phillips. Do you know anything about him?
I don't know.
No. Yeah,
No.
I think he's a Democrat from, let's see, Minnesota congressman. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
about it. I haven't heard much about him though. I
Mm.
yeah, I
think
don't know too
it's
much.
a bad move though. I really feel like it's like if the Ford Party were going to get into it, then we should have gotten into it, and then he should be the nominee, rather than saying like, "Oh, we can't spoil things," by being a third party, and
Mm.
then I don't know. I guess he's within the Democratic Party, so it's legit.
Mm.
But like, even though I think Joe Biden is old, I think he's arguably too old for the job. I think I'd rather have a apoplectic Alzheimer's victim than Donald Trump. I would. I fear the things that he's going to do to the Constitution and to our country. I really do. I fear him getting in more so than I fear an aged or not Obama,
Mm.
Joe Biden.
Yeah. Welcome, Faye. How are you?
Hi, I'm sorry to be late, everyone. I
Oh,
certainly was waiting for this stream all day, and then, just started doing something with Zephyr and forgot. Oh my gosh.
that happens. That happens. Yeah. And yeah, I was worried that you thought the time is Texas time, so I remind you. But anyway, how are you? We introduced ourselves earlier. Can you do an intro, like, where were you and 2020 and what happened now to you? Yeah, just a
Oh,
short
okay.
intro. Yeah.
Back in 2020, I was living in Palestine, Texas, and it's about 3 hours north of Houston and about 2 hours south of Dallas. So I've moved into Houston now, and having a different experience here, closer in the big city. I'm super low income, and so I'm using a housing voucher to stay here in Northeast Texas. I mean, in the northeast part of town, and it feels like a kind of a cultural desert and a food desert where I live. So I'm always finding myself driving a lot, and my expenses have gone up. So that's just my general situation right now. How's everyone else doing? I'm sorry I missed your intros.
Oh yeah. We're good. So, you know Nick, right? Nick Rivera from Connecticut.
Hi, Nick. Yes,
Yeah.
I
Hey,
do a
Faye.
little bit.
When we were canvassing last day in New Hampshire, remember? And Nick and we were in the car and we tried to we try to be spy and to see where the freezing is are and try to figure out, like, and then you and what's the other girl's name, who is a friend with a Fred, and you actually ask us
Hmm.
to um your remote controlling from Texas, asking us to give ride to people in New Hampshire who do not have cars. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, drive everyone to the vote type of thing. Truckers
Yeah,
for Yang was working on that. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Sola. I think you remember Sola.
Yeah,
Sola
Yes.
Sola.
Audio. Yeah.
Yes.
You and
I'm
Sola.
familiar with everyone's names, and I've probably, been in various chats or groups with everybody. Peter Mancu and Brian Mannix, you're all well known to me in a sense. So I've met you online in social media. Yang Gang is yeah, original
Yeah.
Yang Gang.
So tell us a little bit about you have like firsthand forward party movement, and you went to the conference or whatever you call that. So tell us a little bit about that.
Oh well, they kicked off the Forward Party here in Houston. So their very first event was here, and since I had just moved into Houston, I was able to attend. I was like, wow, how how fortunate. So I just made it out here, and then they were having their event like in the first month I was living here or something like that. So um, I did get to the event, and I noticed that most of our old Yang Game people that I would have recognized were not there. It was a whole new group of people, but the room was, it was pretty well attended, and I felt that he was making a lot of good new friends. And there's a lot of, I enjoyed meeting the two main people in the forward party. They both seemed really, really good humans, and so I enjoyed their event, and I haven't honestly been keeping up with them very closely, but every time I reach out to them and say, hey, give me something to do, or tell me something I need to pay attention to, it just doesn't really go anywhere. So um,
Mm.
then later one day I went to the Taiwanese night market event in my town, and and Andrew Yang was the guest speaker, and I was like, huh, nobody even told me, and I'm really trying to find out when Andrew's going to be in town. So I'm like, what is happening? Like, do you guys need to like do more? I don't know. There's something the communication is not happening. So yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think you sent me pictures about that. Yeah, that's
Yeah, so they
crazy.
they had a whole event, and since I wasn't prepared, I didn't, stop by the booth and volunteer like I would have if I had known. So
Yeah,
they could use me better, is all I'm saying.
I know, I know. Yeah, it's too bad. So maybe you should communicate with the campaign, and to see what what they could do better and what
Well,
you
I've
know.
multiple times, like, I've joined the Texas, they're on Discord, so they're organizing on Discord. I'm in the Texas Discord, I'm in the
Mm,
Forward Party Discord,
mm.
and I just I don't feel like if they're sending me emails, I'm not paying attention because it's probably going into some special folder. But if I happen to see it,
I
I
see.
probably do something. But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, you're right. Their email system needs to be improved. That's a good thing. It's we tell them because they've been sending me things to my secondary email, and that email also goes to spam. It doesn't show on my primary thing, and then they kind of, I don't know, make mistakes. Like they call me Sean, which is my son's name, and they call me John, which is my husband's name.
Oh, wow. Well, they know a lot about you, but they just can't seem to put it all together. That's weird.
I
So
know,
strange.
so very organized. Hey, we have someone here, Miriam, volunteer. Um,
Hi.
yeah, do you know who this person is? Howdy, friends! Just got down canvassing for Marianne in San Antonio. Good for you. Good for you. So we are getting the young and back together. So tell me more about that. You want to come to the panel?
They're still staying.
Do you know this person, Faye?
No, I'm not familiar with
Oh,
Marianne, but would love to meet her.
oh,
Be
okay.
happy to meet her.
Yeah, yeah. So let me know if you want to come up. Eh, Peter left. So yeah, I can always give you a link and you can come on. And where were we? Oh, okay. So do you think so what happened after that Texas conference? Do you see any follow-up movement or follow-up actions?
I've heard some different things. When I went to the conference, there were several other groups who were there, and I tried to join some of them as well. Like the No Names label was there, telling us about who they are. I think it was No Labels. Sorry, No Names. I don't know. No Labels, I think. There was also there were various groups who were there. They've been working on, ways to get the two parties talking so that they could so they can get work done. Basically, we're always talking not left, not right, right? Try to move forward. So um, I forgot what all of the groups are now because it's been quite a while. It's been like a year already.
Oh,
So
wow. That
um,
long ago.
yeah, and I did join like some of their groups, and but it they didn't. Um, I didn't feel like they were very interested in the universal basic income, which is really what I'm interested in. So I just continue working on universal basic income, and I've left some of the other things to, forward party to handle, I guess.
Does the forward party strongly using UBI as their as their slogan or their policy?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, forward parties they're trying not to, talk about specific policies that could cause a divide within their group. They want to really work on ranked choice voting and open primaries
Right.
as the two together as a way to, you know, prevent the kingmakers from making kings. Now, I'm not really sure that that is going to work, and so that's sort of why I've hung back. And I feel like other people can do this work if they really believe in it. I believe that we're closer to the UBI than we are to practically anything else. And if we just keep pushing on that and don't divide our attention, we could possibly get it. I'm
Thank
actually
you.
very quite optimistic. Yeah.
Yeah, I see UBI group on my YouTube often shows up, and so I'm glad to see that. Almost every day there's action going on. Yeah. What do you feel? Do you have any feedback, Brian or Nick?
I think with the emergence of AI, I mean, we are gonna, need UBI. I think the levels this past weekend was sort of a historic weekend. I don't know if you guys followed this in open AI, but the ones who invented ChatGPT 3 and this whole chatbot sensation, Sam Altman was fired, and there was a whole hubbub, and the board members resigned, and it was all about safety. To be honest, and I wonder what those conversations behind closed doors are really going on, because there's rumors that they're getting close to like a thing that they call artificial general intelligence, and I think the irony is that when we all and Andrew used to talk about the AI revolution, and we would talk about the truckers being out of work. I think there's going to be a large white collar dislocation because of the jobs that this thing is able to do. So I think UBI is something that is going to be making a comeback. And I think, I'm sad as to the Fordist party. It feels like I don't know, Nick, if you have any insight or if you have any additional comments about it, but it seems like they're looking at the battleground states, looking and just, trying to build an organization of election holders of any kind, and doing it that way. And yes, it seems like softening, their stance on anything so that they can sort of achieve a wider net. I've been pushing for them without any biting. I think they should say, sign up now for a constitutional convention in 2027 and put together a group of people that can embed the ideas of the open primary, ranked choice voting, and UBI into a constitution that changes our system of government. I mean, that's what I would go for, but I don't know.
What do you think, Nick?
It seems that there's a race right now between UBI and AGI, and it looks like AGI is taking the lead here, and UBI is. I know it's something that it's going to be needed, and I think Andrew said something like it's best to undertake it than to undergo it. Might as well face it and do something now so that we're not behind the curve. We're definitely behind the curve when it comes to this. And it was something that helped to bring people together because income inequality is a reality. And the thing is, because it is so widespread, there are a lot of people that don't have that mental bandwidth. They don't have that ability to look at the everyday problems and find solutions. And then sadly, we have a news cycle, we have a mainstream media, a corporate media that focuses so much on the blame game that we're not holding our leaders, those who are in power, accountable. They're being accountable to special interests and to lobbyists, which are very powerful in this country. So it's true, from what I learned, that Ford Party is focused on battleground states, purple states, but this is something that would need to be a nationwide effort. I know it's something that they're trying to grow. I have had the opportunity to speak with leaders in Forward in Connecticut, in my state of Connecticut, trying to get something going here. But it's slow coming. It's not easy to build a viable third party when you have this duopoly. You call it a duopoly, you call it a uni party. There's so many names for it. We just know that it's a big mess and something we need to fix. Sorry.
I wanted to say that we might not have enough energy to sustain even the two parties we have. So my feeling is we should just combine it into one party. I like the Chinese system. That we'll finally be all in the same room and be forced to talk to each other.
And you just pull a lottery, right? Whoever wins is the president. Like 5, 6 people, and then pull the lottery. Yeah,
Well, I mean, as anyone who's actually been very deeply involved in either one of the parties, okay, I'm only familiar with the Democratic Party, so let me just talk about that. Like when I've been deeply involved with them, you know that you don't actually agree with most of the people in the room. I mean, it's not like you have one platform and you all agree. I'm really for UBI, and the person next to me absolutely thinks it's horrible. And you're in the same room, and when you go to make the platform or you go to make a decision about something, you have to talk to each other. And that's really what we're talking about, is that even within a political party, you don't all agree and you have to sit down and talk to each other. So why can't we do that with a bigger group, with the entire country all in there, in the same place? I feel like it's possible.
Yep, that's true. Yeah, very, very well put. Very well put. And we have a question earlier. What do you guys think about third party RFK? Who would he hurt the most? He's running, right? Robert Kennedy. Do you have any input?
Anyone want to jump? I think he would hurt Trump the most because I think he's he's an anti-vaxxer. I think Biden, I think the main element that we're not talking about are these trials, and this one trial that's going to be a reality, and it's going to be like he's going to be innocent or guilty of obstructing justice and the peaceful transfer. I don't think RFK Jr. makes a huge impact, but the third parties could make a difference. I think they're taken from Trump, though. I don't think he would be pulling from Biden.
So are you saying if there's a third party, RFK is a third party, but say hypothetically, third party is not gonna hurt Biden, or not?
I think this particular one is
Okay,
not.
okay.
It depends. I mean, if you had
Mhm,
Joe Manchin, who would, if he ran with no labels,
mhm,
or Mitt Romney or whatever, it could draw.
mhm.
Uh, you know, I don't think that RFK Jr. is going to draw.
Yeah, and Jill Stein is running again.
It's Green Party. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know wait, who's Cornel West?
And
Cornell
as an
West.
independent
He's
Huh? Is that the entertainer? No.
No, he's like
professor.
for a
Oh,
professor. Yeah.
oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Cornell
At
West is
Princeton.
my favorite candidate, and I
Uh-huh.
probably would vote for him if he continues to be
He's
in
70.
the running.
Hmm. Oh, well,
Age, yeah.
you know what? Joe Stein is 73.
They're
Wow.
all very old,
She really-
frankly.
Yeah, yeah. Robert Kennedy is 69. Wow. Wow.
So
Where
yeah,
are the
it's not
people?
like
Yeah.
it's not like we have a choice for a really young and healthy and new forward thinking candidate. Honestly,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I'm not for Vivek. I don't like that one.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Mm,
guys,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
Marion, Marianne is also not young, 71.
yeah, and
Mm.
Marianne though is the only candidate that has spoken UBI whatsoever.
Oh.
But at the same time, not uh, she's not very understanding of what it really could mean, that how
Oh.
transformational it could be. She keeps saying that other policies would be more effective.
Mm.
So I haven't been, but Cornell West, I believe that would really understand at least the difference between colonialism and indigenous
Mm.
and I believe that he would be a true peace candidate. And that's
Mhm.
really what I'm looking for.
Mhm.
I think he and Marianne Williamson are the only possible really sort of peace candidates. Um, and RFK has really lost me because of his stance on, what's happening right now. Um, so I feel like it's weird because UBI has always been my passion project, but now in I feel like it's Biden's just losing his own supporters if he continues down this path of, supporting the genocide that's happening. I'm sorry, but it just has to be said that, war rises to a higher priority for me than even the UBI because,
Mm.
you know, if you're in war, you can't do anything else. So peace has to come first.
Mhm. Yeah, Danny's here. Says Dean Phillips is only 54 and he is a progressive. Yeah, Andrew Yang is
I'll
a
definitely look into Dean Phillips again if,
So young.
everybody's saying we should look into this person more.
uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, very, very
He
good.
said that he's not going to run for re-election as a congressman. He
Mhm.
tweeted that or said
Mhm.
that on Twitter X recently. I was like, okay. He's like, hey, time to pass the baton to someone else. That's I think that needs to catch fire. There's a lot of people that need to go.
I guess it shows he's committed to run, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I was I don't know, I looking back to our Young Guns movement, right? My Young Gun Diary, the film. I was just hoping like this is like a time, like people are doing canvassing, right? Whichever party you are, they should actually watch our film, They can actually learn a lot of things from us, right? It's like learn the passion, learn what we did or how we did it. Of course, we didn't win, but still, the movement, the grassroots movement was pretty well, presented, right? What do you say?
Yeah. The work was done. Even though we didn't like the result, it wasn't what we wanted. The work was done. We literally pounded the pavement. We knocked on doors. We shook hands. We spoke to people. We passed out literature. We really tried to build community. And we did this in Iowa. We did this in New Hampshire. We wanted people to think harder,
Mhm.
and think about, hey, why not go with a non-politician that has their act together and
Yeah.
take a chance, do it,
Mm.
and think about it. There's an economic reform and electoral reform that would, go with this. It's an interesting and compelling platform. How many positions there were already available on Yang 2020? It was the most comprehensive policy platform that you could come up with.
Yeah.
It was very wonky, which is what a lot of people who like math and statistics would enjoy and embrace. And then there are also policies there for that everyday Americans can get, on board with, like especially the policy for veterans, very generous, very considerate, more than a handshake, and thinking about different policies and approaches to different issues, without being divisive. Actually, I felt like I wanted to vote for something or for someone rather
Yeah.
than against someone. Many times I forgot, oh yeah, we're trying to make sure we get someone in there that isn't Trump, because it does matter who gets in there and who is the standard bearer. So that's why I held out, for Andrew Yang and campaigned my heart out. I never did anything like that before. Little did I know something like that would happen. That would take me to New York. That would take me to Iowa and New Hampshire, and even canvassing Connecticut. My introverted personality, believe it or not, going out there and pounding the pavement and talking to people about a candidate that I was excited about.
That's amazing. Yeah. So, in I saw you. Was that the first time you went to New York, May the 14th, 2019? Or you already you already were involved?
Oh, I was already on board with Andrew Yang. Like I already had my math cap. I had all my paraphernalia on and everything. That was the first time I went to a rally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The
No.
thing that unfortunately, I'm afraid that the cycle that we went through, where we ignited all of our passions and got together and did all of this, has happened multiple times in the past. When I met one of our Yang Gang friends, you know, he told me that he had been through this with the Howard Dean campaign,
Mm.
and you guys probably know him, Dr. Quintus Jett. And he had been through this whole cycle already where they, thought they would stay together forever because they had worked on this really important campaign together, and they thought they had they were going to conquer it. And I feel like, unfortunately, the problem is that this just keeps happening. People ignite, and then they burn themselves out, as we did. We really experienced a lot of burnout, and then we kind of lose hope in the system. That's where I've been at. And it's like every time I think about the things that we learned, we just learned how you could beat your head up against the ceiling, and we can just never seem to break through.
Mm-hmm.
We passed every kind of marker that they set for us, because every time there was a new debate for the Democratic candidates, they set a new bar, right? For fundraising, for polls, for things like that. And we just kept meeting them. And we were exceeding people's expectations over and over. Every month we just kept meeting it. And then it just seemed like they were trying to set the goals too hard for us to ever meet it. That it ended up, it felt like, at some point they were like, well, this is a game we've been leading you on, and at this point you're just never going to make it. We will set it just a little bit farther than you could possibly ever, as a candidate who didn't have any name recognition, who had no machine behind him other than grassroots. So, how do you deal with that? Once you've learned that about your country, it's really hard to get involved again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why I hope that the Forward Party will embrace a more encompassing change, not just to be a house for the disaffected. I think we could. To me, our government is broken. It's forever bifurcated, and I don't see, without like a change to a more parliamentary system, or even an issues oriented type of completely new government. In other words, vote for 5 people on, or 6 people who specialize in just that particular issue, and not have these generalists who deal with every possible issue under the sun. It just seems that, to me, because the forward party has a chance now because there are two political leaders from each party that nobody wants. It doesn't seem like, I mean, Joe Biden and everyone thinks that's too old. That's on the Democratic side, or not, left enough if they're of the leftist side. And Donald Trump is a danger. I mean, the man is a danger to. I mean, he's saying he's going to declare the Insurrection Act on day one, and put people in detention camps. I mean, that's not a great thing. And I think when you're trying to build the third political party that can have legs, you have to get a little flashy item in there. It's no longer, oh yeah, we all feel disaffected. Oh yeah, we all don't vote. I think you have to put some meat on the potatoes there, like Andrew had, in 2020. I think we need to have an end game where we say we're going to put the heads together of the political and the economic powers that be and try to come up with a new system that works for the people again. Because, we have a Supreme Court of originalists who basically deal with a Supreme Court that was written in 17, or the Supreme Court was written then, but that the Constitution came out in 1787. I mean, we now have a machine that you can type in and write books and essays or write pictures and do anything. I think we're past our prime for we need a little kickstart, and I wonder if that could be the thing that the forward party places its hat on. In other words, I don't know. I don't see it. I'm worried that it's not going to be this welling up of support in 2028 unless they have a little bit something for them going out now and saying, vote for this person now, but don't forget for us in 2028 because or 2027, because we're going to have a party where we talk about fundamentally changing some of the flaws in the system, like ranked choice voting.
Well, this comment here where it says polls show that RFK Jr. hurts Trump more than Biden. I think, the idea that the third party is always hurting someone is really not a great way to look at things because after all, if people don't support you, nobody should be forced to vote for you because they have no other choices. And if you're losing, then you should, accept that you have not attracted people to your position and people don't want to vote for you. They're looking for anything that will give them a chance to not vote for you. Come on. So, like the duopoly needs to realize if you don't get the votes, it's your fault. Okay, stop trying to make it somebody else's fault.
There's a criticism of, hey, an independent or third party, like, you're what's wrong with the system. What we have here, this duopoly here, this is what democracy looks like, but it doesn't. It's just two parties, and many times they just agree, and they're like this, and they're corporate, so they're already bought and paid for. But they're like, how dare you disrupt our two-party system? Hasn't it worked well so far? I mean, it hasn't fallen apart. But the thing is, people all around are falling apart. You have a middle class that's falling apart. You have people that are so out of touch with reality, and reality is falling apart. Like, I was thinking about this. Why not have those in Congress, in the House, and the Senate take one day, walk together in bipartisan unity, arm in arm, and walk a couple of blocks from your ivory towers and see what life is like, see what it is, what it's like in DC, and the consequences of your decisions and your indecisions. And I think what needs to happen with Forward is there are positions that need to be taken, because you already have a party that's under control of someone that's not afraid to offend, that's not afraid to say incendiary things, and these are not empty threats. So you have to come with something that is going to help temper that and get the electorate to say, hey, I don't like the options that are presented to me. We need a middle way. We need something that's going to help us and not, divide us more. And but the positions need to be taken. That's what needs to happen, because then it looks like it has no teeth, and you have to have a party with teeth. When you're in politics, yeah, you are going to war, but it's a war of ideas, and you need to be able to put your flag down, and you need to be able to have put your line in the sand and say, hey, I'm not crossing this, or I'm gonna fight with ideas against ideas that are detrimental to us all.
I have an idea between what Brian and Nick was saying about the Forward Party, actually taking more positions than just on two tiny policy things, which for them are huge, right? To them, these are two things that are the most important so that we can get anything else done. But I think that something that would be bipartisan or even universal, and it's not universal basic income yet, but could lead to it, is something called an economic bill of rights. And I think that would be something that practically everybody would agree with, that we are lacking in our constitution, but many other constitutions are adopting around the world. I found it really interesting that China's constitution is more forward thinking than ours and more recent, because they're able to change it much more rapidly, right? They have a Congress every so many years, and they review it and they decide together what changes they need to have done. And we also have an example in the Kenyan constitution, which I found really surprising. It's like we're always being told that all these other countries are backwards and they don't know anything, and we need to constantly be helping them. When in fact they've adopted in the Article 43 of the Kenyan Constitution has a very good example of a basic economic bill of rights, which if we could come up with something like that, I think the Forward Party would have some real teeth. If we're saying not only are we going to get these changes to our voting system, but we're going to make a constitutional amendment happen that gives us the explicit right, to good, clean water, healthcare, education, because we've never even ratified the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. We're the only country in the entire world who is part of the signatory to the United Nations, but hasn't ratified this convention on a basic human rights document. So it's really quite embarrassing for us. So I'm like, if we could at least get an economic bill of rights, maybe we could get somewhere. Go ahead, you guys.
Interesting. So when
And
you
that's
say
something.
China, are you sorry, dear, are you referring to Taiwan or mainland?
I was talking about mainland China. The Chinese constitution is surprisingly well written and has a lot of rights in it, which would be surprising to Americans. For example, I mean, they cover things that we haven't even thought about covering, and we may not even think of them as being rights. I mean, I'm not saying that we should have the exact same rights written in, because we may not even agree. Here's one, for example, that I thought really interesting. They say that adult children in China must take care of their elderly parents. Now, imagine, would that even fly in the United States? I don't know, but we haven't ever had a conversation about it in our country. Our grown children, do they need to ever look back and say we might need to help support our seniors? Or do we just we've adopted Social Security in order to take care of our seniors. So that's how we take care of it here, right? So we have to think about, what are our rights? Do we have the rights to travel with our children, or do we don't have any of those rights written in. But other countries, if you look at many, many other constitutions, then you'll see that different countries have come up with some of their own ideas about what are human rights.
Very interesting. I never even bothered to read the Chinese constitution. Now you you mentioned that, I should go, read it. Yeah.
Most of us haven't even read our own constitution, I think. I mean, we might have been forced to in school, and then I've been told something like maybe 90% of our sitting Congress people don't know the preamble for our constitution. So
Yeah, very good. Shockfin made another comment. I was part of New Jersey meetup for Howard Dean in early 2004. We soon merged with New Jersey John Kerry meetup, who I liked anyway, as he was my former senator. Thank you.
Yeah, I was a part of the Dean for America. It became Democracy for America. So Howard Dean tried to launch a nationwide movement after he yelped, I guess. And today's a little different. Right? Before you go, we on, that's it. Now you can be like, I'm allowed to rape anyone and murder and steal from people. And it's like, yeah, you know. I don't know. We've changed a long ways, but back then it was Dean for America, and
Yeah.
had national or state chapters, and then all little chapters, and they had a real organization. Became Democracy for America. That's where I kind of cut my teeth on politics,
Yeah.
using this group Democracy for Long Island, which was fun, but. I feel like the Forward Party is gasping for breath at this point. Do you guys get the same sense, or is it
Say it again. Forward party is what? Sorry.
that it's gasping for breath? And I don't know if it's just because we're in an election where there's like two definite choices that people are getting rid of, and they're just planning for 2028 and trying to get some strategy for that, or whether it's just gonna wither and go away. What do you
Well,
think?
speaking of forward, this was published a year ago on October 5th, right? Was it 2022 or 2021? I'm confused. Anyway, yeah, I read it. It's actually very well. I like it a lot. Andrew Yang actually has a very. I'm not getting paid to advertise it, but Andrew Yang is very personable in writing. He's a very good writer, and he writes with this very humble, um normal tone of voice. He's not like above you. He's just like a regular person, and very personal, very, I don't know, very detail oriented, and he seems like he's not hiding anything. He seems like just let it all out. So I would recommend you read this. And yeah. And then in the other hand, I also moved on this, the last election. And I'm sorry, I'm not really holding a book to read kind of person. So I actually bought the Audible. I bought the audio, and I was listening to the audio, right? But I have to tell you, listening is very different from reading. Listening, you're not always 100% there. You're doing other things while you're listening, and then you all of a sudden, oh, what did I miss? So I listened once, and I still don't get it. I don't get it, because it's too many characters, too many. It's like popping out all the time, and I have to remember the names. So, and then I read again, and I think I'm gonna read the third time. I'm gonna listen. No, I listened to second time. I still get a little lost, but anyway, it's supposed to be a fiction, right? And yeah, and but the thing is, I cannot really separate myself. It's a fiction because I know what happened. A lot of things. So they are talking about Andrew, right? Or they're talking about certain things. I know, not everything. So it's really difficult to pretend this is a novel. This is all made up story. You see what I mean?
Yeah, there's so much element of the truth in there, slipped in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
have you all had a chance to read it? Because I haven't had a chance yet.
No, I haven't read it.
I've read it
Mhm.
once, but I'm gonna have to read it again because, yeah, like you said, it is a lot of characters. It's a very frenetic pace. I read it in 2, 3 days. I couldn't put it down, and I'm not a novel reader, but it's because it really is engaging. It grabs you, and it gives you time slots and everything, and it has an air of mystery to it. You don't really know where it's going to go. And that's what makes it interesting. That's why you want to read chapter after chapter after chapter. It's easy to digest, and the characters, you get to care about them. So that's why I think it's an excellent novel. But it's talking about a very realistic scenario. It's almost like it's it it you can say prophetic, saying, hey, this is something that could really happen. It might happen. 2024 just might be it. This is where this happens. I'm not going to go into too much detail, Faye. I don't want to spoil it for you. So,
Well, I'm waiting for my copy from the library, and it's a hot item because they don't have enough copies. I've had to wait.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And also, you know, the thing I'm interested in is, do you think it would make a good like movie? They need to get on this and like create a Hollywood movie or a Netflix movie for us.
Oh, it's gonna be
Yeah.
X-rated. I'm telling you.
But it's for the, it's
There's,
for the people who are
there's
not,
right,
who are not
Nick.
going to want to read. I mean,
There's
we
a
need to
lot
spread
of
it in
F
different
words.
ways.
There's a lot of F words. There's sex. There's
It's going to be on Showtime. It's going to be on Showtime or something.
oh,
I
yo,
actually heard. I
yeah.
think that it's in the making. They're going to make some kind of series out of it. It's going to
Oh
be
yeah.
dramatized.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's going to be a whole series. All right.
Yeah. We
Yes.
have
Yes.
someone
Is he
in the,
really?
yeah, we have someone in the audience. Right now 8:04. Yeah, we're gonna wrap up in 5 minutes. Okay, we have someone in the audience. KIENGB. Sorry, I don't know your name. The whole monopoly system is designed economically to work 10% of the population, just like the stock markets. 1% own 40%. The rest of the 10% own 90% of the stock. 90% of the population has nothing. Did you get it? Okay, tell me more about that.
Yeah, this is a friend of mine from Facebook, and
Hey, friend.
yeah. Uh, okay, so yeah, I think he's just mentioning, this economic disparity that we have, and that's really what everybody should be focused on. But instead, we've got wars to focus on. We've got, all of these other crises going on. The environment is needs help. We have so many things to look at, and we can't focus on the thing that we really need to. So, I hope that we can thank you for curating some of the things that I get to read and see every day. I appreciate you. And thanks for popping into the
Yeah,
stream.
thank you. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. And he also said Andrew Yang is right to suggest a human-centered capitalism. Yeah. Yeah. True. Yeah. So Shark Fan says something. Yeah, but let's not forget that China. Let me see. I'll give it to you. Um, yeah, but let's not forget that China is still a communist dictatorship without free and fair elections. That's true. That's true.
Well, I don't agree with that. Now,
No,
you've been to China more recently than I have. What does your family feel about that?
about what? Communist?
Do they feel this you're saying it's a true, but I don't agree. I feel like the name of the Chinese of China actually has people and republic and I mean democracy all in it. So they consider themselves a democracy in many ways.
Mm, okay. I don't live there, right? But I was born in China, and from time to time I go back. I used to go back since 1994. I go back every other year, and then yeah, so 5 years I haven't been back. So 4 years. So anyway, um, well, there's no democracy. There's no democracy. That's one party set thing. And they say you have to be locked down in your house for 3 months or 2 months. Then that's it. There is no negotiation. Everybody has a code on their phone. Has to be inside. If you come outside, you get your nose swabbed. And then so the example of the dictatorship for recent year is this COVID lockdown, yeah, in a major city like Beijing. Shanghai is a major victim. So in other sense, there's just, yeah, basically, you are in. I can talk politics with them when I show them, when I talked to maybe 10 people. I said, can you help me to show my Yangon Diary in China, in Shanghai, in the big theater, or maybe just rent a room, have a capacity of 100 people, and they're all hesitate. And then especially someone like my step brother, who is a dean of a music school, he saw the trailer and he said there's no way you're going to pass censorship, um because your movie is talk about United States election, democracy, freedom, rally, protest, everything in your film we do not have in China. There's no way you're gonna pass, them. They're not gonna pass you. You cannot show it in big place. So,
I
in
would
that
like to
sense,
tell I
yeah.
would like to tell a little bit about my story on
Mhm.
because Ching also asked me if I could ask my family in Taiwan to do the same thing. And I
Mhm.
can tell you that they had the exact same reaction. Remember?
Oh, you mean reaction of they cannot show?
Yeah. My stepmom was very, very concerned about the movie. And she was like, no, you shouldn't do that. Don't be doing that in Taiwan. And I can tell you that it's a pan-Asian, I think, feeling that, some of these things that we do here, I tried to explain to them, well, it isn't to create any sort of political, we're not trying to talk any politics, but they see it as something very taboo in Taiwan as well. So I think it's more of a Chinese culture rather than, like, and we talk about Taiwan. Taiwan has all this democracy and everything. They certainly have free elections and all of those things, but they absolutely don't feel that this is like an appropriate movie to be showing.
Yeah. I don't know. Is your mom uh is she a native Taiwan person?
My
Or
stepmom and my dad lived here in the United States with me.
oh,
I grew up here with them.
oh,
They
okay.
went back to Taiwan
Okay.
recently
Okay.
in order to retire, much like Andrew Yang's parents.
Uh-huh.
So I think if you, so I've been to both China and I have family both in China and in Taiwan.
Mhm.
And I feel like it's more of a Chinese, in general, like they don't feel like it's helpful to do politics
Mhm.
in many ways because they want to leave it to what they consider professionals. Now in China, as I understand it, they actually do have elections, but it's run by the the experts, right? The people who are actually in the political parties and who participate in it. Now, when you look at the United States, it's almost exactly the same thing.
Mm.
When I go to the Democratic, events here, hardly anybody in the general public is there with me. We still leave it to the experts here. Even though we have general elections and people do attend those, but I've like in most places, especially in the big cities, in Houston and all the big cities that I've lived in, I was never invited to a single Democratic, power sort of or Democratic like a group where I had a voting power for any elections within the Democratic Party or the Republican Party.
Mhm.
So most of the people I know are not invited to any of those meetings.
Well, yeah, but overall, there is no general or primary election, so people have no choice. And then the other is for uh other what do you call undemocratic issue is they ban Google, YouTube, right? And
Oh, well,
Facebook. Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
See, this is where we have some disagreement because I feel like it's really smart of them because I've been, yeah, I've been a criminal, an international criminal in
Uh-huh,
in the United States.
uh-huh.
And guess what they had for me when I got taken in by the FBI? They gave me my discovery. The discovery is, the information they're going to use at trial.
Oh,
Um, and
oh,
in my discovery, I had 2,800 pages of my Facebook.
oh. Wow.
2,800 pages of Facebook. So imagine if all Chinese citizens were on Google or on Facebook. They have to give the United States government all of their information at a, when asked. If the court says, give me this information, they would have to give it. It wouldn't be a choice because they are American companies.
Yeah, but that's pretty, I guess. I wouldn't say that's common to a lot of people because it's still so inconvenient for the mass population that you cannot Google, you cannot use YouTube, you cannot, communicate with people via these social media. I felt paralyzed when I was in Shanghai at times because my VPN did not work. I bought 3 VPN before I went. When I get there, it did not work. So I have to use another friend.
Wow.
Yeah, my friend came to give me his VPN. And then after a few days, it still did not work. Then I have to like beg him to come again. So it's like very inconvenient. Yeah. But yeah. Um have you lived in mainland China?
I have
For
only been there as a visitor, and I've been there for like several weeks, I think, maybe 2 weeks.
oh,
And I stayed in an apartment that was owned by my aunt,
uh-huh.
passed away,
Uh-huh.
and she's a Taiwanese person.
Oh.
So I've been to visit like 2 or 3 times.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, what I would say is that I mean, I respect how you feel, but yeah, go live there for 6 months and then we talk.
Well, I have a cousin who actually opted to live in China now
Yeah.
after having been grown up in Canada.
Oh.
And he decided to settle down after going to school there and
Uh-huh.
is very happy with his wife. So
Uh-huh.
that I hear from him sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, thank you for letting me know how you feel about that. Let's see. Do we have any more comments? There's no public election in the corporate enterprise. There's no public election. Oh, in the monopoly. Yeah, thank you so much. Anyway, so I think we need to wrap up. Anybody here have anything you wanted to add on, or anything you wanted people to know what you're doing, or yeah, anybody? Nick?
Just want to say that you were talking about the books, right? Forward in the last election. Between Forward and the changes that took place with Forward Party, the merging of two parties, there are a lot of changes between what was said, what the Forward principles were, and what they are today. And universal basic income, wasn't that part of the original Forward principles, right? But then that changed because it's like the idea was, well, we need electoral reform before we can even get to that. So it's a non-starter. And I know there's a lot of disagreement surrounding that, but that just goes to show that there are strategies that need to change. They need to be in flux, and we need there to be a focus that's going to bring people throughout this country together, Democrats and Republicans and independents, and I think tackling income inequality is definitely a way to go because it's a real issue. It's an ongoing issue. It was there before COVID. It's there after COVID, and everyone is feeling it in one way or another. So I think it's just important to stay informed. Don't get too distracted with what I think is a lot of theater, that 24/7 cycle, the news cycle. It's easy to get into that. And it's like a doom cycle. And the last thing you want is learned helplessness because of that. It's like, oh, woe is me. What am I gonna do? Everything is going crazy. If you get people together and you build something, and that's something that needs to come from people, right? And it reaches a groundswell that the elites cannot ignore it. I think that's what you need to do. And I think that is the spirit of what Forward has in mind, but it's moving very slow, and I don't think we have that kind of time. So let's put it that way. But on positive side, I'm glad that we're able to reminisce a little bit, able to meet together, and I think it's something that needs to be done more often to help keep each other on track and to get the message out there. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
Thanks
Brian.
for putting this together. No, I'm hopeful for the future. I'm a little bit leery. I think I have this like 8 month pregnancy thing when Donald Trump's decision is going to come down and when that's going to hit. And I'm worried about the reaction of the American public, to be honest, depending which way it goes. And I hope that we all keep our heads. And I would like to also give a shout out to the hostages that were just released today, and continued prayers for some peace in the Middle East and the rest of the world as well. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Yeah. I echo you. I feel worried, yeah. Worried. And I think it's not it's like one hand it's almost like going to a casino. You want to win, right? You know you're gonna lose, you know? It's like either way, you go there, you think you're enjoying it, but actually you're not. So of course I haven't gone to casino for a long time. It's just like yeah, it's something do I have control? I don't know. Do I? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Faye, anything add on?
Well, thank you for having us. I mean, I really appreciated you calling us together and making a reunion, and that you have a focal point for everybody to, have a chat and check in on each other. I hope everybody was checking in on each other in the live stream, and meeting people that they're used to working with. So
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. This is going to be replay right away after we leave this live stream. So hopefully people will watch. And um, yeah, like I told you guys, I still live in the past and I couldn't get away. Couldn't not remember what we have gone through, and which is exciting in many ways. And because I don't know if I could do this again. I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe mostly probably not as crazy as we did 4 years ago or 3 years ago. So it was quite amazing, and we feed each other our energy, right? It's just that I've never seen anybody like you guys, so that just keeps me going on to try to capture as much as I can. So yeah, go still if you haven't. I'm talking to audience. If you haven't seen my Yangon Diary, and you will. I think I put a link below, and yeah, you can watch it free on Tubi, and you can watch it. You can spend $2 on Amazon Prime, and yeah, yeah, thank you so much, Nick. And you were a major force of this film. And without you, I don't think there will be my Yagandari. I told you before. So thank you so much, and for your dedication and your energy and your everything. Yeah, inspiration. Yeah, thank you. Brian, thank you so much, and we should get together soon, right? And Brian took me to Washington Square Park in June, and is it June? Yeah, we he made me play my 5-string electronic violin, and then the video he made. Did you make the video or someone else? You made, yeah. That video got like, can you
Yeah,
believe? Yeah, 7.6 million views in China.
It's
7.6 million.
show me when it slips some subliminal,
Yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah. It's on YouTube. It's on WeChat video. It's not like it's not getting monetized, but it's pretty fun to see people liking it. Yeah. So yeah, and Faye, thank you so much, and thank you for hooking me up with your family and also with Michael. I believe I was gonna, show my young gun sometime in October, and then my health was not good, so I did not go. Yeah, but hopefully, yeah, hope I need to be more organized. Yeah, and setting up this time earlier, not last minute. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, thank you so much, and happy holidays. And there's more holidays coming up, and yeah, I hope everybody safe and and happy. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna close this. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you,
thank you,
Bye.
Jane.
everyone.
Bye
thank you.
everybody. I
Bye-bye.
Nice
want to
to
thank
see you
all
both
the people
again.
watching us. Thank you so much for watching. All right, bye, take care.
Bye-bye. Take
Bye.
care.